Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome to American Defender. So today we are going to be talking about this bike right here. This is a 2021 Icebear maddog trike, and I have wanted one of these since they first came out. I bought this back, let's see here, beginning of October. It's a 150cc automatic scooter trike, basically. It's a clone of the Honda Ruckus, but at the same point in time, Honda never made a trike. So it's kind of its own thing, its own original thing. It's a good bike. This one's got a few little upgrades, if you want to call them upgrades, modifications. It's got a couple little ones. It's got underglow. Of course, we can't show you that now because it's, daytime, but the whole bike glows, multiple colors, and you're running down the street with the headlights on, so you can pick through, I think it's 15 different colors. There's like a lime green color, red, yellow, blue. The thing about the strobing effect that the lights that are on this, it's dangerous, is it'll strobe red and blue. So you got to be careful when you're going through your remote and picking your colors, because you don't want to get popped for impersonating a police officer. But that's one of the aftermarket things on there. It's got this bag on here from Kemimoto on there, and then the pipe. So there's the pipe on it. That is aftermarket. The factory pipe looks nothing like that. That pipe I had to modify to even get it to fit. It's also got a aftermarket air cleaner on there, and I also put a Mikuni fuel pump on it because the factory ones are known for dumping out on you. So it's 150 cc's. It's a GY6. These rear tires on here are car tires. They are car tires. They are 270 30 by 14s, and if I remember right, the spacing on this rear axle is, I think it's 4 on 100, 4 on 110, one of the two. I know that it's the same exact bolt pattern as the old Mazda RX-7, so RX-7 wheels will fit on this, and I've heard that some of the different quad and golf cart tires and rims will work on the back of this too, if you want to go smaller, which really you should. I'll talk about that here in a minute. Got the billet aluminum wheel in the front, all digital gauges. We've got a battery tender gauge right here. I don't know how well you guys can see it's on right now. It says I got 13 volts. Fully digital gauges, turn signals, 360-degree adjustable mirrors. Coming on the back here, it's got LED turn signals, brake lamp, all of that. Here's kind of how the rear axle's set up on this thing. So it does have inside the sprocket here, there is a bit of a differential in there, but for the most part it acts like a live axle. What else can I tell you about it? These shocks right here, the shocks are pretty good. They don't hold any air. They look like they're supposed to, but they don't. It's just purely for looks. They are an oil-filled shock. They're not air-filled. I'm 330 pounds, so it hauls me right down the road just fine. Disc brakes front and rear. This particular one, when I got it, it had a, see it right here, battery tender, right there. So, interesting bike. They're very peculiar bikes. Now, there's a two-wheel version of this as well, and basically what they do when they make these, because you can see down here, they leave the kickstand mount for the two-wheel version. The front half of the frame is a two-wheel what we call a chuckus or a mad dog. Okay, this is all two-wheel stuff all the way back. The thing that makes it a trike is this lower swing arm right here, and the shocks and everything being mounted back there. All right, that's what makes it a trike. If you wanted to go get a rear wheel and all that stuff, you could turn this into a two-wheel if you wanted to. So does have electric start. My battery is the factory battery, and it's not the strongest. I need to replace it, so I've been kick-starting it. Front wheel, 12-inch. Headlights, it's got those bug-eyed headlights. They're LED. They're really bright. They're very bright. That's one thing that you really don't have with this, is a shortage of lights. Gas tank on this is right there. It is locked, so nobody can get in it. It holds 1.5 gallons. Yesterday I ran out of gas and I had to stop by the gas station. Well, I didn't run out, but you know, I was low. Gas gauge said time to stop. When I opened the tank, there was probably, I'd say, 1/8 of an inch or so of gas in the bottom of the tank. So it's not exactly completely empty when the gauge goes out. There is a little bit of a reserve, but I filled it up with 91, which right now is $4.89 a gallon, January 2023. And to fill this up, I only used a little over $3. So not bad. As far as mileage goes on this thing per tank of gas, that is really dependent upon rider weight. It really is. The gentleman I got this from, he weighed all of like 160 pounds, and he was getting anywhere between 100 and 110 miles to a tank of gas. I'm like 2 of him. So me getting on this thing, riding it, I get about 75 miles, 80 miles to a tank of gas with it. So what are some of my complaints about this thing? I mean, they're a cool looking bike. They're very unique looking. What are some of my complaints? My number one biggest gripe about the Icebear Mad Dog, my number one biggest gripe, is they're too slow to be driven on the street in factory form if you're over 200 pounds. They're just too slow. I think they're too slow either way, but they advertise these things capable of doing 50 miles an hour. My top speed on this one's 38, and then the engine cuts out. So, and it's only got 700 miles on it. So it's a 2021. And it's not that there's something wrong, it's just that's all she's got. They're geared wrong. The Mad Dogs, the two-wheel Mad Dogs will absolutely do 55, 60 miles an hour. No problem. Okay. The trikes, like this, they're geared like the quads, and they're geared like the go-karts. So they're not really geared for roadway speed. And the gentleman I bought it off of said that all he could get it to do was 45. And then it was cutting out on him, you know. So I'm trying to figure out why it's cutting out, hence the reason I put the McKinney fuel pump on it. So I thought, okay, maybe that's what it was. It's just getting to a certain point, the pump's not able to, pump, starting to cavitate, and that's a popular thing that folks do on these things, is they get rid of the Chinese fuel pump, they put the McKinney on it. That's what everybody told me to do. I went and did it, and it made zero difference. So I put another filter on it. The filter box that's on it is very restrictive, and you can kind of see I got that MDX filter on there. Put another filter on it, see how that did. I picked up like 2 miles an hour. All right, I did pick up a little bit of speed with it, because before I was doing about 36, 37, and it would cut. So riding this is about like riding a 50cc two-wheeler. And I'm trying to figure out how to go about my goal. This is my goal with it. If I can get this bike to have a top speed of 60 and comfortably cruise at 45, then I'll be happy. That's all I'm asking, okay? Because I want to be able to have a little bit of some extra acceleration there, so that when I'm in traffic, if something happens, I need to pass, I need to, do something and get out of the way, I could twist that throttle and it'll kind of move out of the way. As it is right now, you wouldn't catch me dead on a main road with this. I'm sitting here at this park, and I took back roads the entire way because it's too slow. It's got a lot of low end, but the way they have the clutch set up on this, you're going to have to go in there and modify it. All right, you're going to have to. There's just all there is to it, especially if you're a bigger person. If you're smaller, probably not. You might be able to get away with it. If you're a bigger person, 250 plus, you're going to have to get in that little cover right there, and you're going to have to play with the rollers and change the gearing out in the transmission, and probably get the aftermarket variator for it and all of that stuff. You're looking at another like $250 or so, and then the thing will do what it's supposed to do. They geared it wrong, all right, is what they did. Your sprockets, now you don't have sprockets on the two-wheeler, you do on the three-wheeler. Your sprockets down here, this one right here that you're looking at, that one down there, that's a 19-tooth sprocket, and the one back here is a 34-tooth sprocket. I am currently trying to find either a smaller rear sprocket or a bigger output sprocket. So that's output, this is input on this side. So I'm trying to find a different sprocket for it. That is proving to be very difficult, because it seems like everything I have found is 19 teeth is as big as they go. Most of these bikes come with like a 16 tooth, or they come with a 13 tooth, like in the go-karts and quads and stuff, because they're not making them to go on the road. So I'm trying to find something. Maybe I'll have to adapt something. I might have to do, I don't know. It's probably going to be easier to find a rear one than a front one, because the rear one seems to be just a basic 6-bolt sprocket. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that one. The worst case scenario I have considered on this, maybe ditching the GY6 altogether, get rid of the scooter engine. And I have considered, because I have enough room for it under there, I have considered trying to find a 2-stroke 250 off of something like my Suzuki LT250R or a Honda 250R or something along those lines. Or even if I can't find that, I've also thought about using a Honda 185 with the semi-automatic clutch and making a new brace and stuff and bolting it under the seat right there. So that's something I've considered. So that's one of the things that I have to mention about this thing, is that they are slow. They're very good looking bikes. They're very unique looking bikes. They're very slow. They're almost dangerously slow. It can be remedied though, so it's not like you're stuck with it being slow, but you can remedy it. Another thing to mention on these bikes, and this kind of goes for all Chinese scooters, your hardware. Go over and check all your hardware. Like you can see up here where I had a screw rattle out right there. Check your hardware. Also, if you notice back here, there's some welds on that cover plate. Yeah, just riding down the road, because of how this thing vibrates, that broke off, so I had to weld it back on. It doesn't have to be there, but I wanted it there because I didn't want it flinging stuff into my back, because there's really nothing else here to cover it. I really do wish they would have put a rack on the back here. Okay, I really wish they would have. The fenders are all plastic. As you can see on this one right here, I had to straighten it out the best that I could with a heat gun, because this exhaust, when I first bought this bike, and if you see this exhaust on eBay, let me tell you right now, don't use it. Okay, don't use it. I had it already, so I had to modify it to make it fit. I would stick with either the exhaust that comes on these things, because really the exhaust, unless you're going to be building like a 232 or something like that and doing a stroker kit, the exhaust on these bikes is suitable for about whatever. All right, so this right here is for one of the two-wheel drive bikes, or excuse me, two-wheel bikes. You can see where I had to cut it down here. Cut it at an angle, mount it up, weld it back up, weld the pipe and everything. This is actually originally, it slipped into the bottom of this pipe here, so it's kind of sitting on there and then welded on, and had to make my own bracket because the original owner of this thing had it on there, and I don't know if you can see it on the tire, but it was dragging the tire right here, and kind of blowing right at the corner of my fender. So that's why that's all distorted. A lot of guys take these fenders off. I might, I don't know. So as far as exhaust goes, stick with stock. There are a few other pipes that you can get that do work, but you've got to make sure it's a short pipe, or be good at welding and then just modify it and make it work like I did here. What else can I tell you about it? Electric start, kick start. Of course, my electric start, because my battery's weak, doesn't work the greatest, so I'm kick starting it. I wish they had a rack on the back. I'm probably gonna build a couple of like braces or something that come up off the top of this. And I thought about finding a really old trunk, you know, and setting it back here, or maybe taking a beer keg, cutting it in half, hinging it, putting locks on it, and making like a beer keg storage unit on the back here for it. Something interesting, you know. Maybe I'll even incorporate some new brake lights and larger brake lights and turn signals, because the signals and stuff on it, to me, my opinion, are too small. It needs bigger ones. We have some billet pegs on the front. These are nice. It is a little bit of an awkward bike to ride when you first sit on it, because you're kind of stretched out. But you get used to it. The other thing about this bike, and this is something to watch for, and I have tried to get a hold of Cajun Mad Dogs about this, and they have been of zero help to me. My handlebars are crooked. If you guys look at them, they're crooked. The wheel's straight, they're crooked. This end over here is lower than this end over here. And that is because when they drilled the forks for the handlebars stump, they drilled it off center. So if I put these straight, they're straight. Now let's go up here and look at the front wheel. You can see, it's not exactly sitting straight now, is it? If I put the wheel straight, there we go. Now the wheel is, well, still not straight. Let's get this here. There we go, they're straight. All right. Now the wheel's straight, but the handlebars are crooked. So, you know, it's a Chinese bike. This kind of stuff happens. I could get in there. You know, it's not hard. There's just one bolt. Pull it out. I could probably take my welder and weld the hole shut, drill it through, or make a coupler, slide it down over there. You know, I really would like to raise these handlebars up, so I might do it anyway, but sit that down on there, you know, make a coupler and everything for it and straighten everything out and correct it, but it wouldn't be hard to do, but it's just something to know. Okay. Front shocks, they're decent. I do plan on getting NCY forks here soon. And actually the plans for this, if I can't get it to go 45, if I can't get it to maintain that kind of speed, then there's plan B. And plan B is turning this into an off-road vehicle. I'm going to lift it. I'm going to figure out a way how to lift it, but I'm going to lift it. I'm going to put a dirt bike fork on the front of it. And I have found some off-road 14-inch tires made by BF Goodrich that'll go on the back of it. They'll fit right on these rims. You know, raise everything up. And then I'm just going to use it as an off-road machine. Worst case scenario. But, I mean, it do run. So let me go ahead and pause this real quick and I'll start it up for you, let you guys hear it. And then that'll be it. Alright, there it is. I actually got the electric start to work. You can kind of see here. So it's, there it is. That's what they sound like with that aftermarket pipe. Normally they're quieter. I like having a loud pipe on a bike. It helps people to see you, even though here in Arizona, drivers, as of recently, it doesn't matter if you have a loud pipe or a great big "Here I Am" sign painted on your back in fluorescent, you know, yellow or orange. It doesn't matter, you know. They just don't see you. Arizona drivers are just terrible anymore. So, but either way, there it is. Icebear maddog 150cc. Now that we got it running, I kind of show you those gauges. They're kind of trick looking little gauges. Kind of see you got your fuel off to the right there, the mileage. Got your tachometer on there. It's fully programmable. Really kind of cool. So, with that, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I got to get home. Got to beat traffic. And later on today, we are going out with the RCs. I may video that. I don't know. But I've been meaning to show you guys this bike for a long time. I know I've said a lot of negative things here. Don't let that stop you from getting one of these, because they are very fun. Especially if you're a tankerer, they're very fun. The GY6 is a very good motor. It's just you're going to have to do some gearing stuff. All right, you're going to have to re-gear the bike to fit you. That's just the way it is. Most people that get these scooters end up doing that anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Every single Chinese scooter I've ever had, I've ended up re-gearing because I wanted more out of it. That's how I ended up with a 91 mile an hour scooter about 6 years ago. But I have no plans of that with this. So with that, thank you for watching. God bless you. Remember to take a kid fishing, take a kid shooting. Be safe out there, everybody. And we'll see y'all on the flip. Bye now.